Right. So I think most of you have met me already, but for those of you who haven't, my name's Wendy Finlay and I work for ESP, who predominantly work in support of Scotland's colleges, but working with industry. But my role is to support colleges with their STEM engagement. So happy that my email is shared after this and I can talk about the wider piece there. But today I'm going to talk about something that I'm quite passionate about, which is First Lego League. First Lego League is a global challenge. It's originally an American franchise. First has nothing to do with buses that I used to work for, but it stands for Inspiration and Recognition in Science and Technology. And they're an American company who've partnered with Lego Education to develop this global challenge, which runs at 3 different divisions. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to really quick scoot through the divisions today, but if any of you want to contact me afterwards and learn a little bit more about any of them in detail, then I can have a bit of a further chat with that. But the first thing I get asked by teachers or colleges is, well, I hate when someone says to me, it's just Lego. That's clearly someone who was deprived of Lego as a child, because nothing is just Lego. Lego is the limits of it are incredible. But First Lego League, this is really what it's designed to do, particularly at the challenge level. But the young people, we keep hearing about employers wanting meta skills and curriculum for excellence demanding meta skills. And this is the slide that I show to teachers to show what this develops. So all levels develop teamwork and communication, whether it's the kids and the young people talking to each other or at the challenge level where they give formal presentations. There's a bit of strategy, certainly for the challenge level, on how they can score the maximum amount of points. And design, there's a lot of free build within this at all 3 levels, and they get to use your imagination. And on the slide there, you can see the white bricks, which is something at the Scottish final where the kids are just given white bricks. And in their spare time, they can build what they like. And you can see here some of the amazing things that they built just from their imagination. So if anyone says it's just Lego, when we're trying to promote construction and engineering, and the arts side of STEM, then, Lego certainly ticks all the boxes there. For the explore and the challenge levels, there's a bit of coding involved, and I'll come on to those. And one of the key things that I put in here that the kids develop is resilience. When they code that robot and it doesn't work, particularly when they're in a competition, and they have to go away and they try it again, the success is all the more beneficial when they succeed the following time. But this is where they learn a real life thing, that everything doesn't work first time and it's done in a safe, fun environment. And I think that's a key part of actually getting the kids to a festival or a tournament as well. It's a friendly competition, and I'll come under and explain how we keep it friendly, how the franchise has been developed from something that was, I think, about 10 years ago, very much aimed at private schools, and how now it's been adapted so that it's suitable for 9-year-olds and 16-year-olds at the challenge level, and how we keep it fun and friendly. I've got a case study pending that I need to chase up, but we've used all 3 divisions for ASN. It works really well, particularly for the neurodiverse. A lot of those kids quite like the coding. So watch the ESP website and I'll share with CDN when we get the case study. We can't create a template because every child's needs and young person's needs are different. But what I can do is get those teachers or practitioners who've used it in that environment to show what they've learned, and there might be just some ideas in there for other people. But the key thing is that it's interactive and it's fun. Slide. So ESP have been involved for about 5 years now. In our first year, we had 7 tournaments that maybe had about 3 or 4 teams each, and we had 3 festivals for the Explore level, which is the 6 to 9 year level, with about 96 kids participating. Last year, we got funding from Digital Extra, Scottish Government, and the IET 150th anniversary. And for the Explore, we sponsored over enough kits for 2,000 kids. Now, some of those kits were reused. We've set up regional libraries of resources, working with the RAISE officers and some other regional STEM leads. So before, when we used to fund sets, they went into school and they might disappear and never be seen at the end of the season. So now the sets are getting used over and over again. And some areas we're doing a similar thing with the challenge sets as well. We dipped a little at challenge last year. A lot of the secondary schools couldn't participate because they were catching up after COVID and there was ongoing illness. But we're back up to 11 tournaments this year. And the Explore, we've already, thanks to Digital Extra, got funding for 290 kids, and we aim to use those 3 times. We get them, the season officially is March to July, but we try and get the sets in August so that they can be used by a different school or a different class each term. So we're doing well there, but still looking at a bit of funding. The theme changes every year. Last year it was Cargo Connect, Transportation and Logistics, and this year it's Power. So ESP being the Energy Skills Partnership, we're quite excited about that, and we're trying to get some of our corporate, our industry partners involved to do a bit of sponsorship as well. And just to give you a very quick idea of how professional this worldwide competition is, I'm just going to show the snippet video that there is to get teams inspired. So quite exciting there, just to see how professional this is, and the Lego education part makes a difference. We really push the teachers for feedback every year, and I have seen some changes that have been made by the next season. So really professionally done. So I'll come on briefly. For those of you that I know most of you are aware of Challenge, I'll just do a quick scoot through the other levels because there are real opportunities in there for colleges. So the Discover level, which is for 4 to 6 year olds, we're currently starting next week. We've got a project running at New College, Lanarkshire, where we're using this as an activity for early years practitioners. We're looking at it as a view to embedding that in the curriculum so that those practitioners leave with a STEM engagement piece. So it's a really good initiative. It doesn't involve coding, but it does all the teamwork and the other things that you've seen in the other slides. One thing that I would say, it comes with a map, so that brings the kids together to work as a team, and then has every year has the different seasoned Lego. But if you are working with kids of that age, I recommend you Google 6 Bricks and the IET 6 Bricks, who they made a load of videos during lockdown, which are fantastic. And there are about 20 activities that you can do, STEM activities, that just involve 2 sets of different coloured Duplo bricks. And when you buy the pack, every child in the team is given 2 sets of bricks to take home. Teachers don't like it because they don't come back, but the aim is that in the classroom they'll do a 6 bricks activity as a warm-up, and then the kids will go home and do it with mum and dad or with their siblings. So we're taking those STEM activities back into the household and then just widening the outreach. But they're great, and so have a look at the videos. And we did it as adults in the training session and we found it fun. So can't fault that at all. The other piece that comes, the bit that you can use year after year, is the STEAM Park. And then when you get hold of that, obviously that's a resource, an ongoing resource that can be used. The teachers have their team meeting guide that has all the class activities within it, and the pupils have the engineering notebook. All of this, all 3 divisions now are Curriculum for Excellence aligned, and that's all on the IET website. So the kids at this level tends to be drawing in things that they use to record their experiences, but a good little workbook for them. And then the IET on their website have lots of resources and tutorials and training videos that the kids can use. Some of you will be aware of Explore because we've had colleges that have hosted the festivals for that. It used to be aimed really at a team of 6, but now we found a class pack working with the RAISE officers that the whole class can do. It's far more effective. At primary school, you can't break a team of 6 out of the class. So it's used as a class activity, and the class packs come in different sizes. For the rural schools, a lot of them have used the 18 size, but more commonly, and the ones that we've managed to get funded, are the class pack for 30 kids. And I say it comes with the kids create a poster that they show on at the festival. I work with the schools to get reviewers out in the classroom who can talk about their jobs. It's not a competition, albeit they keep getting asked who was the best, and that's why we call them reviewers and not judges. But the kids get to show their poster, they get to show their Lego, they power a Spike Prime, or if they've still got WeDo's, those robots to power an element of the task. This year it's a wind turbine. But we find on the free build, sometimes they just build something and they power that. So it's fantastic to see what they come up with. And last year it was a little parcel sorter, and they could also use the colour sensor so that it would sort different colour parcels into different sites. So a real chance for them to practice the coding and give it a go at that. I had one teacher who had been teaching for 30 years and said it was the first time she'd stepped back and let the kids get on with it, because they had the robot moving before she'd even opened the app and figured out how to use scratch coding. So that was really good piece of endorsement from her. Challenge is the one that you all know best, and it really is the one where we get to inspire the kids most. So it's for a team of 2 to 10. Traditionally, the school or the scout group or the boys brigade or the guides or whoever it is register their team, and then they come along to a regional tournament. So we've got 11 tournaments across Scotland this year, all the way from North Highland. We've got the Islands, Dundee and Angus, Edinburgh, Grampian. So 11 in all there, and they come along to a tournament and they get to compete against other teams. And the core values part of this, where they're graded on their behaviour and what if they've shared it with other kids in the class, or it's been a feeder event for the primary school. But the kids know that they're being marked on the behaviour, so they get marked if they cheer their team on. They get marked even better if they cheer another team on, and that keeps it as a really, really friendly competition. And if a junior team's struggling, we get a senior team to go and help them out, and that just keeps it as a friendly competition. There is class packs for this level, which something again the teacher can do it entirely in the classroom, but we do, and that includes the competition. But we do encourage those teams to pay I think it's £48 to come along to a tournament, because it's that experience at the tournament where the competition element comes out. They meet other teams, they learn from other teams, and they very much develop that resilience piece as well. So again, the teacher gets the team meeting guide, each team member gets the engineering notebook, and the Bible is the robot game rule book that's interactive this year for the first time. So they can go into, there's a QR code for each mission that breaks down how the scoring takes place. So that's where they look at the strategy. What missions are simple to code for, and some of the missions have easy points within the mission. So they just have to identify those. So that's a really good addition. This year for the first time. So they build the Lego, which is quite exciting, and the missions go on a special mat. Historically, only 2 of the team could be at a table at a time, but as of this year, there are 2 home areas, which is the quarter circles that you can see there. And for the first time, we can have up to 4 at the table. They can tag in and out, so everyone in the team can have a go, but this gives an opportunity for more of them to be involved. So on the judge training and the referee training that we do, there's a few rules that go within that as to how that'll work. But for those of you that need to see that, then we'll go in. And Megan's the expert, so I'm not going to go into that because she'll keep me right if I get it wrong. So there's a number of prizes that they get. There's the overall award, core values, the innovation project, which is my favourite. That's where they choose a problem to do with the theme, and they can find any problem they like that's loosely related to the theme, and they talk about how they would solve it. And the secondary school kids are very formal, and they have their little clicker and their PowerPoint presentation, and they worry about budgets. And the primary school kids are dancing into the room, and they're dressed up, and last year they were making anti-burglar or burglar-proof mailboxes and showing them to the judges, and they tend to bribe the judges with cakes and things as well, get their core values points. So it's quite an exciting day, and no team goes home with all the prizes. Back in the day, one team could go home with 10 trophies, and that's all been stopped now. So the overall champions, if they also win the robot game, because that's public scoring, they can have 2 prizes. Other than that, we try to make sure it's fair game, that everybody else gets a chance at a trophy, and it means more teams go to home happy. So that works quite well. We had a Scottish final last year in the Michelin Scotland Innovation Park in Dundee. We won't have one this year because we struggled for numbers last year. So our teams will go down to the GB final in Harrogate. The team there is a rural team from McLaren High School in Callander. And I'm not going to show the video. I know, Joe, you've got the video, and I think it's a really good way to finish the event. But the boys, they went to Brazil. They went to the World Championship in Brazil. And in Brazil, from 90 teams who were invited from 50 countries, they came third in the robot game. And all three of those kids are going to university to study STEM subjects. One's doing theoretical physics, one's doing mechanical engineering, and one's doing computing science. So, and you'll see from the video, it is a really good example of where we get asked quite a lot if STEM has worked. So I'm just going to briefly summarise, and we can take any questions really on what the opportunities are for colleges. So you can host a tournament, you can host a festival, you can mentor a team, you know, if that's something that you want to do. For those colleges that are running young STEM leaders, there's opportunities there, but I'm not going to go into that in more detail because I think it's something that Jules is going to cover. And then really the key piece for me is that college-school interaction. There's a study about to kick out that EcosGen have done for Education Scotland, and about why young people drop STEM subjects, and they just don't understand the relevance. And most of them, over 50% of young people at secondary school, have never heard of an apprenticeship. So the more that we can get them into colleges and see the opportunities, whether that's from a STEM club or from running a tournament or whatever, then I see that as a real opportunity. And then also a chance to get industry involved as judges and referees and things like that as well. So that's really it from me.